Roll call vote.
Julia Lagerholm here.
Becky DeMarco here.
Beth Bergstrom here. All righty. So the Douglas Public Schools mission statement. The Douglas Public Schools offer a diverse learning experience that meet the academic, social, physical, and emotional needs of all students. We provide safe, supportive, and challenging learning environment in which students may achieve academic success, personal growth. Decisions are made in the best interest of the students. We are going to forego Pledge of Allegiance today. We do not have a student representative today. Is there anybody here for public comment? Don't think so. All right. Do we have any old business, Dr. Vera?
We do not.
Any new business?
We do not.
Nothing on your report tonight as well?
Correct.
All righty. So we will move on to the accounts payable. And Julia, if you don't mind doing all of them for me.
Oh, you want me to do them? Sure.
Becky, Rebecca, Becky signed this.
Becky sent them. I'm sorry.
All right, sorry. Let me find them. Okay. Whew. All right. How many are there? Can anyone help me by telling
Yeah,
me?
if you wouldn't mind, Becky,
Yep.
there are 22 batches, with 55 school 25, 55 meal school 25. That's the meals tax. 55 school lunch 25, and middle school 25-10. And then high school 25-14. And the warrant date for all of these warrants is 6/30/2025, with a warrant total of $245,391.28.
Okay. I motion for approval.
We don't have to approve them, but you
Oh.
had no concerns on any of them?
No concerns.
Everything
Okay.
was right? Perfect.
All right, and the next one is warrant number 56, school 25, with a warrant date of 6/30/2025. Total number of batches is 4, and the total warrant amount is $267,488.07.
No discrepancies.
Okay, thank you.
Was that the last one, Courtney?
Yes, it is. Sorry. Yes, it is.
Thank
No,
you.
you're good. I thought so. If somebody could let Meg in,
Oh, okay. Let me see.
it might say like Lime something.
No, I have to stop. Let me stop.
She's in.
She's in. It looks like she's in.
I'm here.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. And please let the record reflect that Meg Rodson has joined us at 5:03. All right, moving on to our consent agenda. Thank you for the accounts payable.
All right. We're going to turn it over to Diana for a presentation and a request for substitute trainings. Diana?
Great, thank you. With the new use of SmartFind, it was kind of brought to our attention. It might be a great idea for the substitutes to get some training ahead of school. What this, for those who don't know, what this does enable the school to do is everything will be more electronic. If a substitute is needed, they'll see an absence come through, and the substitute can say, yes, I'd love to work that Monday and I'd love to be in the 6th grade, or they can decline it. So it's a more automated way of getting our substitutes out there. So what we would like to do is get everybody set up ahead of school. So when this initially came up through IT, Dom said, I really think we need to do some extra training. We decided to kind of couple in that using our resource officer as well to do some safety training. So we're looking at maybe a 3-4 hour training. We reached out to the principals in case they building wanted to do a little training of their own internally just to get everybody all set for school. What we needed to do, however, is set a rate for this, because this training isn't available anywhere. We are recommending that we set the training at $20 per hour. How we came up with that is just kind of looking at our low and our high, because we will have a variety of substitute teachers, substitute paras, as well as substitute nurse. So we wanted to kind of find the best rate in there, where we ranged from $15.17 an hour to $21 an hour. We thought 20 was a good and appropriate fit for this. So I am recommending $20 for a substitute training rate. And this is for training which would take place outside of the school year.
Perfect. Does anybody have any questions on it and any concerns? I personally think it's wonderful.
Great
I
idea.
think we need to do it.
No, I think it's great. Do you anticipate any pushback from unions though? Like, are these all people that are currently not employed by the district?
They're all non-union personnel. They're all
Okay,
substitute teachers. Yep,
perfect.
yep.
So no problem there. No, this sounds great.
Awesome. Thank you. So I would be looking for a motion to approve the substitute pay rate training outside of school hours for $20.
I'll make
So
that
moved.
motion.
I'll second. Julia will second.
Julia second, and who made it? Meg, did you do it or Becky?
Meg.
Okay, so Meg made it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we
Anyone
need to do roll
opposed?
call?
Yeah, you're right. We do. Roll call vote, please.
Becky,
Meg Rod. Go ahead, Becky.
figure go alphabetical order. Becky, aye.
Julia, you're next alphabetically.
Yes, thank you. I'm like, what is it? A, B, C, D. Okay. Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Meg Rod said aye.
Beth Bergstrom, aye. Thank you so much, and thank you for Diana and everybody for making sure that it was a competitive rate and that it was something that we could do for our subs, because we want them to be as prepared as possible, and it's all good. So moving on to the Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operations report.
Okay, so this evening, I'm going to start with I guess I'll start with how they're in order, provided. So we have the, FY25 general fund budget transfers, number 10 for year end. This is basically, there are two of them, that just brings the general fund appropriation down to zero. So we're reclassing from, oh, no, sorry, that's afterwards. See, I usually do it the other way around. So we're transferring between all the lines within the general fund budget, just to bring all of the, make the account really nice and pretty and all down to zeros, which you're gonna see later on. That's all this is just moving the money around within the general fund budget. So I have, does anyone have any questions?
So I would be looking for a motion to approve the general fund transfers.
Yep, number 10.
Number 10.
Mhm.
So moved. Becky?
So
Second.
motion made by Becky, second by Meg. All those, roll call vote, please. All those in favor?
Becky, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Meg Rod's and aye.
Beth Bergstrom, aye. Thank you, Courtney.
Okay, thank you. Next one is FY 2025 budgetary transfers, number 11, and these were just two additional ones we had to do.
Okay. Any questions, guys, on those?
Nope.
All right. So I would be looking for a motion to approve the transfer number 11.
So moved.
Motion made by Meg, seconded by.
Becky?
Roll call vote, please.
Becky DeMarco, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Meg Rod's and aye.
Beth Bergstrom, aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then that's why I usually do the reclasses first, because you do the reclasses before you do the transfers, but that's okay. So we have reclassification, FY25 reclassification number 15, and this is moving, utilizing the balance left in the general fund, in other words, bringing it down to zero. So we reclass expenditures out of school choice into the general fund to bring it down to zero. And that's what this is here. So it's reclassification number 15, moving from school choice over to the general fund. Does anyone have any questions? Okay.
All right. I'd be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
I will second that. Julia,
Motion made by Meg, seconded by Julia. Roll call vote, please.
I, Becky DeMarco.
Julia Lagerholm, I.
Meg Rhodes and I.
Beth Bergstrom, aye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, so you will see, I guess I'll do, I know it's a little bit different from the way you might be seeing them. So I did provide to you the FY25 general fund budget report. And so this is bringing everything down to available budget down to zero. And then you see just the expenditures for the year and the encumbrances for the year. And at the very end of the report, we have to do a little calculating at the very end, because as far as the operating budget for the school district, to get to that, I have to take the bottom line grand total and minus out the school transportation. So you see that at the end, and then it brings everything down to zero as far as the general fund operating budget. There was a balance left in the transportation line, okay? But we did bring the general fund budget down to zero, operating budget down to zero. So that's just provided to you if you are looking to fall asleep some night and you want to look at all those numbers. So then the report before that, I'm assuming it's the same as in my packet. So I also have for you, as we do at the end of every year, the FY25 school department funds report. At the top of that report is the operating and the transportation, which directly coincides with the detailed one I just went over for the general fund. This is just a summary of the numbers. Then we have all of the revolving funds. There's nothing really big to note here, as far as year-end balances or anything like that. I will go over more in depth the school choice and the circuit breaker at the end, because those are the two ones that everybody is always interested in and wants to go over. I also have the FY25 donations. We do receive miscellaneous donations occasionally. We do have high school athletic donations as well. And then on the next page is the prior year grants, any grants we received, whether they be state or federal or private in FY24. And then we have the FY25 grants. When you look at this report, you'll see some minuses at the end. That's because we're waiting for money to come in from the state. And also we downloaded funds as well, but they just didn't hit yet. So we do make a notation of that. Nothing really big there. And then the last page is just what's in the two student activity fund accounts. And we have the middle school and the high school. And student activity fund funds are comprised of both a savings account and a checking account. And you'll see the totals there as of June 30th, and that those accounts have been reconciled. And then you'll see mine and Jean's signature. That means that all of these accounts have been reconciled with the town accountant. Okay, so we have that for you. Now, I did want to go over, which I believe is right directly after the general fund report, I believe, in your packet. I don't know how it comes up for you, but so this is where the meat is. So I'm going to go over the school choice revolving fund trend and then the SPED circuit breaker trend. We'll start with a school choice. You'll see where we ended in FY 2024 actuals. Fund balance was 2,253,727. And you see we're ending up in the FY25 actuals with 1,551,406. You see there was some reduction in revenue from 24 to 25. That can vary wildly because of if you look at 24, I don't have the breakout yet for the 25, but for 24, you can see the breakout between regular tuition and the special education increment that we receive, and that can vary greatly. That can absolutely vary greatly by student, okay? So you see the revenue we did receive in 25 and the final expenditures that was there are in the school choice, bringing it down to 1.5 million. Now, we did discuss during the budget process for FY26, we knew that we were bringing that down more. We knew that we were negotiating DTA contracts. Desperate rates were increased a lot. you know, admin, all non-union, everybody, okay? And we knew that in FY 27, we were expecting some of the large projects from the town to come more online. And that's, of course, something that, you know, Paul's been speaking with Matt about, talking to the Board of Selectmen, Finance Committee, and things of that nature. We are hoping to increase our appropriation going forward in 27 and forward. Okay, so we did, in order to keep the district stable, you know, maintain, you know, teaching positions and also, you know, have our Chromebooks and all the things that we need. That was a decision that was made going forward into 26. Okay, so now if you turn to your circuit breaker, okay, this is more, I want to talk about a little bit more here. Okay, now we know during FY 25, we had expenditures that were increased, and I did report out to the school committee throughout the year in both contractual services, transportation, and special ed tuition. And I will tell you that, yes, as of the April 2nd public hearing for the FY 26 budget, we were projecting a very low carryover balance, like almost nothing. Okay, so I am going to let you know this evening that when you look at this figure here at the bottom, the fund balance of 270,654, that's because I did some things to set us up better in circuit breaker, because we know that we have a large tuition that is going to be our responsibility in FY 27. So I wanted to build up that balance to the extent possible. I know it's not a large number, okay, but at least we're ending the year with 270,654. How I did that was we had 120,000, I think it's 120,304 that was budgeted in FY 25 in the elementary tuition line that was never used. So rather than have that just roll back into school choice where it can be just kind of sucked up into anything, I wanted to make sure I set us up in the circuit breaker account, because we know that we have that large tuition coming down the pike, and circuit breaker can only be used for special education expenditures, and they are typically used for tuition primarily. This year, for the first time, FY 25, it was used for transportation. Prior to that, we never needed to use it for transportation. The other thing that I did too was reclass. So for the 120, I reclassed $120,304 worth of tuitions out of the circuit breaker into the general fund to use up the general fund. I also reclassed tuition from circuit breaker to use up every available amount I had in the 240 grant as well that was left over at year end. Okay, so that's the most I could bring it up was a 270,654 with the tuitions. So at least we have that. I also want to let you know that we have a revenue estimate for FY 26 of just over 922,000. Okay. So, and we also have an additional payment coming from DESE, and the amount, and it is noted on here, it came in July, so it wasn't there for June 30th. They did some last minute, you know, here we've got some extra money we can throw out to the districts, okay? In the amount of 132,413. So if you add those together, the ending fund balance of 276.54 and the 132,413 additional payment coming in FY 26, that brings it up essentially to the fund balance to 403,000. Okay, so that is setting us up pretty good. If you take the 403,000 and you add in the estimated FY 26 revenue, that brings us up to a balance of 1.3 million. Okay, we budgeted in the FY 26 budget 716,994. So I'm hoping, if we cross our fingers and nothing more comes in, that I'm hoping that this will set the district up so that that enormous tuition that's going to hit us in 27, because Hopkinton is responsible in 26, but in 27, I'm hoping that that's going to mitigate, you know, for Paul and everybody, you know, dealing with the FY 27 budget, school committee, that effect. Okay, so it won't be such a hard hit on the operating budget for the entire school district. Okay, I know that was long-winded, but I think it's very important. to point that out. But I do want to point out that, you can see that fund balance is the lowest it's been in 8 years. We did get that additional payment, but I mean, that's only because at the last minute, the legislature had some money and just kind of threw it out to districts, but you certainly can't rely on that, especially with everything going up and up and up. So that's the best I could do, but I think that's pretty good for setting you up for circuit breaker at least. Does anyone have any questions on that? So those are our two biggest accounts. So, and then the final two reports is your.
Hold on, I have a
Oh,
question.
sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm
I know
sorry.
you're
Yeah.
so I know you're so excited to jump to the next one.
No, I
but-
just didn't want to hold people up, but I definitely would be any
Yeah,
question.
there's a lot of information here to digest, and Courtney just shared this with me last week, and Diana is still going over it as well. So we will continue to update the school committee regularly about this. We knew that FY 27-26 with school choice was going to be difficult. We've had these conversations last year, but don't feel like if you have questions, you can ask them at future meetings, because there is a lot of information here to digest. So I just wanted to add that little editorial note to all these numbers, because I know it's a lot, and I know it's late in the day.
And thank you for bringing that, Paul. And I know Diana and I spoke about that as well, because I was going over with her like what happened in 25 and all that, and she mentioned that as well about providing information going forward to the school committee, and being updated on it. Of course, we can't predict what's going to happen, so we'll just hope that stays nice and steady. So, are there any other questions? Okay, so next we
I
have.
Courtney,
Yeah,
I don't have a
certainly.
question, but I don't have a question, but I just want to say thank you, because I know that this has been something we've been talking about a lot, and I know it's caused, it's been something that has been high on the radar for everyone. So I know that, moving this from here and moving that from there, and making it all work out isn't an easy feat for any of you. So I want to say thank you. I mean, obviously we have to be very careful, and we're not where we're used to being, but we're in a lot better place than I think I anticipated we would end up at this point. So thank you.
Yeah. And again, we always want to be, prudently conservative. And that's why I lowball the circuit breaker at the meeting, is so that you always want to be able to have some better news and saying, oh my God, if I had told you this up, and I'm going to come in and may have it be hundreds of thousands lower. That's something you never want to see. So, but anyway, but I appreciate that. For the school lunch financial historical trend, nothing big there. You can see we are going into the fund balance just a tiny bit, but they do have a good hefty fund balance. They have been using it the last several years because we had no money for decades. So we have been using it to upgrade equipment, and we did a whole, the POS system, all brand new computers, which they were breaking down regularly, all brand new. We went to the most, a wonderful update to the software as well. Just Allison is definitely looking at that regularly, looking at all of the school buildings. She'll be working with Diana, going over the capital plan for FY 26. And so that's going very, very well. Any questions there? Okay. And the last report that I have is a preschool historical trend. This one here, you can see the revenue did dip a little bit. So I just kind of, I guess I'll just throw it out there, just as a little thing that when you're working on the FY 27 budget, you may want to take a look at. I know we haven't increased fees for years since COVID, for the past 5 years. We really should take a look at that so that we don't have it dip more, because the less that we can rely on the fees, which means the revolving fund, the more the general fund has to be relied on, which means you're having to cut more out of the general fund. That's kind of how that works. So just a little something to think about. Let's see, what else here to note?
Courtney, is that but we don't, the attendance is not down, right? Our enrollment is not down. It's just that the teachers' salaries increased. Is that kind of why this?
Yeah, we have enrollment or dip just a little bit, but that can have its ebbs and flows, not really a lot to make a giant difference, but it did dip. It actually has dipped. But also, yes, if you look up, excellent question, the ABA salaries, you can see there is more in here. For a little bit more for the teacher salaries, but, the ABAs did go up, about 12, around roughly 12,000. Now that has its ebbs and flows because when you're working on a budget, like the situation we had for FY 26, I'm trying to project out way in advance. I don't have a crystal ball, but so that's why you might budget to have less in here that I can support, that I feel comfortable supporting, but we might end up being able to put more in here. It's a real juggling act. Because
Yeah.
otherwise you're hitting the general fund for more. So keep in mind, the preschool is made up of 3 funding sources. The revolving fund, general fund, and then there's a tiny grant of just around $10,000. But the less we can use in, the less that we can rely on fees and revolving fund just means you're taking more out of the general fund, which can mean more cuts. So that's the balancing act. That's a balancing act between everything, whether it be the preschool fees or the athletic fees as well. I know we haven't increased those in years, and I totally understand why, but at some point it hits a wall.
Mhm.
And then you say, oh my goodness, now we're having to really hit the general fund for so much more, and we're having to cut more positions and things. That's the reality of it, So it really is a balancing act between what we can get from the appropriation and balancing between decisions with fees as well. So just something to think about going forward in FY 27. Any other questions on preschool? Okay, so I don't have any more on my report, but I would be grossly remiss if I didn't send out and let you guys know a humongous thank you to Ellen, Michelle, and Jean. They worked tirelessly getting this done. And I also want to say, this is the earliest we've ever closed out the books. So we really, Jean worked her butt off, Ellen, and Michelle was, we called it holding court. I had kind of made up a little phrase, I even gave her a softer chair because she had everybody coming down, meeting with her to go over those purchase orders. And we had to give a more comfortable chair because, we were holding court a lot, as we said. But a tremendous amount of work, a humongous thank you goes out to all of them. And as you know, we have a fabulous working relationship with Jean. And she, it's just a great team effort. It is an absolute team effort, always has been, always will be. And just fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think we want to say thank you to you, Courtney, for everything you've done in the past 13 years with our district. That's no small feat. And you've left a lot of knowledge. You've left us in the best possible position I think we could be in. And I'm just grateful for everything you've taught me personally. Even when I said, okay, can you make this in a mom budget term, not a municipal budget term? You looked at me. You always just, you always made it work. And I just appreciate you. I think we all do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And I think it speaks volumes that this is the earliest that the books have ever been closed, but this is your last time doing it. So you're leaving the district perhaps better than you found it. And I only say perhaps because I should say absolutely. I don't know what happened 13 years ago, but the fact that you are closing the books earlier than ever, it just speaks to who you are and that you're setting everything up for success for Diana and the girls.
But I can't take credit for any of that. That really was because I was busy doing other things. It really was Ellen, Michelle, and Jean.
Yeah, absolutely.
99.9999%, I'm telling you, really. And that's why I wanted to throw out a humongous thank you to them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really no small feat.
And
No.
Courtney, I wish I got to work with you more. I was very glad to attend your retirement party at Bella. It was a wonderful speech made by Paul.
Yeah, it was.
I learned a lot about MGL.
Yeah.
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 We wish you the best, and it's clear in my few short weeks of knowing you that you're outstanding at what you do, and you're going to be greatly missed.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. And remember, I couldn't, no one in any position, administrator, can do what they do at all without great staff doing what they do. You could never do your job, you could never succeed or anything. So it's with it, and both on the school side and the town side. So I'm just grateful for that. And I've been very grateful for that. And you guys, we have had a great school committee for many, many years. There's been different people coming on and off, but it has been fabulous for most of the time I've been here. And I think you all try to do, and past members as well, try to do the right thing for the right reasons. And I think that's why it works with the dialogue going back and forth. Paul and I never had any problem saying, you know what? You're absolutely right. We didn't think of that. We'll get back to you, or whatever. And that's what putting all of our heads together is what makes it work. So I'm grateful for that. You made my life 1,000 times better and easier with that. And I know Paul would say the same thing too. I mean, it's just really,
Yeah.
I think it just speaks volumes. I think it speaks volumes of the town too as a community. So grateful for that as well. So thank you all. I don't have,
Courtney, we've been so lucky to have you. So blessed in Douglas to have you for all these years. Thank you. When is your last day officially?
Friday.
Ah!
Yeah. Yep, Friday.
Again, I know
You
I
have
said
big plans for Monday?
Oh, I'm going to Maine. I'm going to Maine with a friend for a few days.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
so. I know I said it last week. I'll echo it again. Thank you, Courtney. It's been an honor and a privilege to work with you these 5+ years. And I know we'll say more when we chat on Wednesday, but this is your last school committee meeting. This was kind of like your Super Bowl too. You know what I mean? With your
No, I don't, because I don't know much about football.
This is kind of like your Super Bowl. I don't know what other analogy I could draw
I
that
don't
would
know.
make sense, but like you went out on a high note with your last school committee meeting, and I know this was obviously needed to be done, but I know the amount of time that you put into it. And I will say this: I've worked with many people I think I'm starting my 32nd, 33rd year this year, and I've seen many administrators and many people the last week or 2 or 3 a month kind of ride off into the sunset. You would have no clue that Courtney is retiring in 2 days with the amount of energy and gusto and enthusiasm and work ethic that we see in the office every day. It's like she's coming back next week and the week after and the week after. So again, thank you for everything and congratulations on your last school committee meeting ever.
Mhm.
Unless you run in Uxbridge and become a school committee member. But as of now, this is your last
That would
school
be way
committee
too
meeting
tall in
ever.
order for me. But, and I did say at the last meeting too, that Paul, you have been absolutely fabulous to work with the past 5 years.
Thank
Even
you.
with our bantering or whatever at times or whatever, everything was the right thing for the right reasons, always trying to do the right thing. And you've been, I can't say it, you have been the best superintendent out of 20 that I have worked with. 20. Yep. Yep. Like I said at the last meeting, it almost felt like, remember I said it felt like we were getting a divorce when you said, you mean amicable, right? And I said, of course, amicable.
Yes. We have the separation papers coming out on Wednesday. We'll sign them. All right.
Okay.
Anyway. All
All
right.
right.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you for everything, Courtney. Do we have any topics not anticipated?
That was it.
That's it.
Beautiful. Our next official meeting is September 3rd, but we might
We have one
to.
August 20th. Our next
Yep.
official one's August 20th.
Good. That's good. Good reminder. It wasn't on my calendar.
Yeah, and via Zoom,
Zoom.
correct, Paul?
Via Zoom, correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Well, then we'll see you on August 20th, and I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second. Second.
Okay. Take care, everyone. Take good care.
Oh, we need a roll call vote, Courtney.
No.
Hold on.
Becky DeMarco, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Meg Rods and I.
Beth Bergstrom, aye. Thank you, everybody, for coming on your vacations or
Yeah.
on your way.
Likewise.
Take
Have a
good
great night.
care.
Bye,
Safe travels,
bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Great time.
Safe
Bye.
travel,
Bye.
Becky. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have fun, Beth.